In Southeast Asia, piracy and maritime crime continue to pose threats to their expansive seas and waterways. Today, the narrow choke points that separate Asia's rapidly developing littoral states offer criminal networks vast opportunities. Hijackings at sea of cargo ships, tankers, and kidnapping for ransom have all helped line the pockets of maritime mafias and militant pirate groups.
Magbabayad ka kung mga 50,000, mga 70.
Asia's booming sea highways, which transport the world's most precious commodities, have brought wealth and prosperity to some, but not to all. With industrialization of coastal communities, environmental damage, and growing economic disparities, traditional seafaring people are being forced into gray areas of illegality and into the hands of Asia's modern pirates. Pirates in the Malacca Strait often attack at night. Oil tankers and ships carrying everything from cars and cosmetics to rare minerals pass through this lucrative body of water each day. A small group of masked men are on a reconnaissance mission. Ships are scouted and eyed up. Mafias in this region of Indonesia have a wide network of informers who constantly look for precious cargo. All of a sudden, an Indonesian Coast Guard patrol pulls up alongside the men's speedboat. The scouting mission is quickly aborted. Piracy in Indonesia is a highly secretive business, closely tied to organized crime. In the southern Philippines, another type of piracy has long found a foothold in the fragmented archipelago of Sulu. The extremist militant group Abu Sayyaf, who pledged allegiance to ISIS in 2014, made millions from hijacking ships, gun and drug trafficking, and most infamously, kidnapping for ransom, where foreign nationals were often targeted. Numerous Europeans fell victim to the group's tactics. In 2016, German sailor Jürgen Kantner and his wife Sabine Mertz were attacked while sailing off the coast of the Philippines and Malaysia. Sabine was killed during the kidnapping. However, Jürgen was taken hostage. In a former Abu Sayyaf stronghold, an ex-militant who witnessed Kantner's ordeal firsthand takes us to where the German hostage spent his last moments alive.
Saan? Wala naalala. Si Bill natin.
Bill
Tawag
na?
namin.
Bakit Bill na ang tawag sa kanya?
Kasi matanda na kasi siya. Dinusasan, katapos pinaupo na muna. Na, si Bill. Doon ako sa likod.
Ah. Ikaw yan?
Tumataga ako sa likod ng hostage.
Kung nasa likod ka ng hostage?
After about 4 months, Jürgen was executed.
Dalawang araw kami naglakad, pagkatapos bigla-bigla nagalis si Tato.
Bakit nagalit?
Kasi bakit daw di pinadala ng pera. Parang daw linoko kami. Ganon. Kasi
Nung nangyari yun, ano nangyari sa kanya? Nung naramdaman yung parang niloko?
ganon. Gusto nila kasi dadating kagad ng pera. Tapos walang dadating ng pera. Sabi nila ganitong oras. Sabi nila 8 o'clock. Katapos pugutan ng ulo. Pagkatapos itapon ng ulo, pabayaan na ng katawan doon.
The publicized kidnapping and execution of foreigners intensified international pressure on the Philippine armed forces to eliminate Abu Sayyaf. Today, tight security measures across the island of Sulu are maintained. Patrols on land and sea are carried out. Groups of up to 20 soldiers take to the seas around Sulu's many small islands. Meanwhile, the geographical focal point of modern Indonesian piracy centers around the narrow waterway between Sumatra Island and the Malay Peninsula. Under the cover of darkness, an Indonesian pirate who operates in this narrow stretch of water agrees to be interviewed under the condition of anonymity.
Ya, kapal yang ditarget yang tahu kita time keluarnya dari tempat muatannya. Begitu dapat informasi dari tempat dia muat, pas dia mau keluar belayar, ya kita menuju target.
Around 94,000 ships pass through the Strait of Malacca each year. Using over 40 different ports, pirates are known to target slow-moving vessels.
So the Strait of Malacca and Singapore, or globally known as SOMS, is a choke point. Choke point refers to geographic features where the navigation route of global shipping trade will have to slow down because it enters such a relatively narrow strait. The significance of the Strait of Malacca and Singapore is because for the global voyage, it serves as the middle point.
With an estimated trade value of US $3.5 trillion, securing the constant flow of maritime traffic through this strait is vital for the world's economy. Pirate gangs target the strait's many slow-moving ships and can easily blend into local fishing communities. 67-year-old fisherman Naman Rahman is aware of the dangers that pirates pose to ships in the Malacca Strait, working each day on the boundary line between Singapore and Indonesian waters.
Kalau city kita aman, kalau untuk nelayan aman. Kalau untuk nelayan aman. Kapal besar tak aman. Gitu. Kadang-kadang minyak ni kadang-kadang ada juga kapten bermain dengan orang banyak lah ini kan banyak minyak.
Naman has to navigate his small boat around the hundreds of ships that constantly pass through his fishing grounds.
Rata-rata kapal lalang. Kadang-kadang satu hari itu kita bisa habis dilanggar kapal tuh kadang 10 piece jaring, kadang habis semua jaring dilanggar kapal. Karena keadaan nelayan tak mau makan. Kalau tak ikut jejak di sana, kita tak bisa cari makan. Kalau daerah kita ini tak bisa cari makan, tak bisa lagi.
With fishing becoming such a difficult career option, some of the younger generation of fishermen are turning to piracy in the Malacca Strait, moving away from the traditional fishing trade and into illicit networks that make fast money.
Saya dulu Pak, nelayan lah, kecil-kecilan. Awalnya dulu mancing, tak lama saya kerja kelong. Tapi hasil makin tahun makin susah Pak, ekonomi itu makin tak tertutup.
Out-of-work fishermen are often the main recruits for pirate gangs operating in Indonesian waters.
Kita sudah mulai ngeluh dan kemudian ditawarkanlah sama kawan Pak satu pekerjaan manjat kapal inilah yang pernah kita kerjakan dan lama kelamaan Pak macam pekerjaan ini enak dan menghasilkan duit yang besar. Kemudian Pak kita masuk negara macam Thailand, Filipina, Singapura, dan kemudian kita berangkat dari sini ke Jakarta, dipanggil kerja.
In the Philippines, the Sulu archipelago is home to the country's marginalized Muslim minority who have a long and proud history of standing up to foreign invaders.
Sulu and Basilan are the island provinces in southern tip of the Philippines. It's the southern part of Zamboanga Peninsula. It is particularly Sulu is very famous because of the previous kidnapping incidents involving the ISIS group and the remnants of supporters of the Al-Qaeda.
The Abu Sayyaf, a militant pirate group native to Sulu, used their knowledge of the local terrain and surrounding waters to effectively target ships in the busy waters of the Sulu and Celebes Seas. A senior Abu Sayyaf militant responsible for holding foreign hostages agreed to be interviewed.
Well, pagke, di ba mo na ko sila Abu Sayyaf? Well, way pag-usaha ko na nagmimbil ako kanila ka posted man on lukat mo kasi ako, kabajitan ako.
Hindi naman yung
Nagbasa ba kumangko tahon, umulong ko mga katluan na, taglima. Sabi ko, bukas pag makahosted, kami magjaga. Pagjaga na mo ba on Amerikano malukat na ang budget na mo. Pagka-budget ka kung mga 50,000, mga 70, mga Germany, mga Amerikano.
Military patrols conduct coastal surveillance of the surrounding waters. However, permanently policing these islands around Sulu is almost impossible without the support of the locals.
Piracy is also most often, especially in our region, is most prevalent in areas where power and authority of the modern state is blurred. Because you can't draw a physical line over water to tell you if that belongs to your country or another country. And this is where piracy thrives, because they work with the gray areas of what constitutes power and authority over a certain place. For the state to project its power over an archipelago, it has to maintain security forces, naval forces that is able to police these areas. But the problem is, both the Philippines and Indonesia consists of thousands of islands. It's beyond the reach of the state. It's beyond the capabilities of the state.
Back in the mangrove forests off Indonesia's Riau Islands, which for decades has been the main staging ground for pirate gangs targeting commercial ships in the Malacca Strait, former fishermen have turned to piracy. Their skills and knowledge of mastering the sea make them ideal recruits for complex operations.
saya sebagai ibaratnya Pak, saya banyak versinya dan kemudian saya kadang tekom satu kendaraan dan kemudian saya penjaga sandra. Nah, itulah peran saya dua. Kadang di satu grup ini tak ada tekomnya, saya dipanggil. Kalau ada tekomnya kadang saya bertindak sebagai penjaga sandra, Pak.
Hostage takings by pirates in Asia were rare by comparison to piracy in West Africa and the Horn of Africa. However, with the rise of the Abu Sayyaf in the early 2000s, kidnappings on sea and land became prevalent as the group abducted foreigners, business people, fishermen, and soldiers.
May on iban na muhado kayong kauman. Pag-ubo sa mga di maglalawag, kami bawa ni matawad kayo magkuhan. Na kami magjakariya, kuhan sulong. Akuan, mga beach ni, mga taon. Pagkawa ng mga taon, iluan na mabangka, dahon marit. Pag di na, doon na siya magdahon na bundok. Inangon na mo, bang na mo nakakawa na, itapok na mo.
In the jungles of Indonesia, long known as one of the key strongholds of the Abu Sayyaf group in Sulu, locals are constantly vigilant against militants returning to their territory and help assist the Filipino military in securing the forested hills and villages. Despite remnants of the group still existing, much of its strength on land and at sea have been diminished from years of successful counter-terrorism operations and the support of local defense groups who still patrol the area.
Bali adlaw yan sir, inform na mo sada mag-start na mo in gunban. Kinamagsugod.
In and around Jolo, Sulu's provincial capital, military checkpoints are routinely set up and used in order to stop and search civilians. Gun bans around sensitive local elections are imposed. The Philippines is one of the least gun-restrictive countries in Asia. It's believed that there are an estimated 2 million loose firearms circulating around the archipelago. Half of these are unlicensed and illegal. Cutting off the supply of illegal firearms remains a key focus of the Philippine military in eliminating the threat of Abu Sayyaf. An arms dealer shows us his weapons collection. He then shows us how easy it is to acquire illegal guns in the southern Philippines, where gunsmiths run their own clandestine workshops hidden in the mountains.
Bili sa bundok, sa bukid. Pinaman na bili yan? 25. 25? Ito, caliber 40. Yung gawang dito lahat talaga, mga 12, ganun. 12, 15.
Pero yung ganyan, ginagawa rin
Bali, ano lang kasi ito, yung parts lang binili ko, tapos inasimbol lang. Para makita nyo yung paano gumagawa, may kakilala ko, isama ko kayo, paano gumagawa ng baril. Yung bumibili, siguro yung bumibili dito, ginagamit ng sa Abu Sayyaf, yung sa politiko, mga private army nila, o sa mga drugs, mga tauhan ng yung may mga drugs na ano.
In an undisclosed location, a gunmaker takes us to his workshop, where he makes and sells guns to private armies, pirates, and militants.
Trabaho nagpusil. So sa 20 katuig na. Dito ako gumawa ng baril.
Anong baril yan, kuya?
45 yun. Inasimbol ko lang.
Ang isang baril, gaano katagal niyong ginagawa? Yung isang ganito, ilang linggo, ilang buwan niyong ginagawa?
3 linggo, 3 semana.
It takes these Filipino gunmakers around 3 weeks to assemble the weapons. The guns are all handmade with makeshift materials.
Tapos sa isang baril, magkano siya?
Pag wapay color, 6,000. Pag makulora na, 11.
So mas mura sa inyo yung baril.
Oo.
Magkano yung puhunan mo doon?
Ang ganansya namin sa kabukanig, o sa kalibo lang kayo, analas kahago.
Bakit ang baba nung ganansya nyo? Bihira bang bumubili?
Oo. May nalagi ka lang mabuhi.
Illegal firearm factories are widespread in the southern Philippines. This dangerous cottage industry allows loose weapons to be sold and smuggled to private citizens, pirates, and crime syndicates. Revolver 38s and .357 Magnums are just some of the weapons made in this small workshop. Going by his alias name Tulang, this 70-year-old gunmaker is a master in making handguns. Having honed his skill and craft for over 50 years, Tulang can assemble a Revolver 38 in just under a month. Wrapping the weapon in a piece of newspaper, it's now ready for distribution.
Nakaiba ako yung gamit ni Abu Sayyaf. Pero, di sa siguro ang tanan nagikan rin ako. Daghan mang maligya dito, lupit sa ila.
Millions of dollars worth of weapons were purchased by the Abu Sayyaf group. Ransom payouts were used to expand operations and buy more weapons for piracy and kidnapping.
Kami sinapang, di mo di sinapang na mo, may nakaustid na kami. Inustid ka, indukat ka mo, kami na mo magti sinapang mataod. So pagtaod di sinapang na mo, ang pa kami ini-recruit tao, nagpataod kami Abu Sayyaf para mataod kami. Natimod din pag-ustid na mo, nakanat din pag-ustid biya na kuhan, kaulaulaan. Mataod din magkabiyon mga nagbibinta mga milyonary, mga kuha magpakuha sinapangbihon na mo, umatindihon na mo. Na magbikan, misan halka na mga 50, iragang ka mo mga 200, bayaran na mo, damatod na sin na mo ipagbayad. Tod na lukat.
In Indonesia, the piracy on the Malacca Strait is not nearly as violent as that of the Abu Sayyaf. Pirates in this part of Southeast Asia minimize violence and work with local fishermen and ship captains in order to secure a successful hit. An Indonesian pirate takes us through the process.
Itu organisasinya tergantung dari informasi. Dapat informasi ya bulan ini, 2 bulan akan datang dapat informasi lagi, ya kita buat lagi aktivitas. Atau sampai kadang 3 bulan baru ada informasi, baru kita buat aktivitas. Kita itu lebih banyak suksesnya daripada gagalnya. Karena betul-betul confirm baru kita laksanakan. Yang paling hebat ya karena kita masing-masing dapat misalnya 10.000 US, masing-masing pernah juga sampai cuman 5.000 US.
Sekali daw ko.
Pernah gagal. Gagal itu tadi kena adanya patroli kurang matang gitu kan. Kerjaan itu ya ada satu misalnya kita kerjasama sama nelayan itu mengontrol tempat itu.
Fishermen in the Malacca Strait are familiar with navigating narrow choke points. Batam, the largest city in Indonesia's Riau Island province, sits just 19 nautical miles from Singapore. Fishermen use the waterway each day. Jumari, a 55-year-old fisherman, has crossed into this busy shipping highway most of his working life, which has long been a key hotspot for piracy.
Selam ini dari zaman dahulu kala sampai sekarang, Pak. ya kadang di Laut Cina Selatan juga di pintu keluarnya masuk, kadang di daerah sini, kadang daerah pintu masuk ke Selat Malaka. Ikan rata-rata kapal kalau sini melewat kan slow speed. Ya speednya kan di slow, jadi maka kapalnya slow kayak kita gini kan, jalannya pelan. Ya, jadi bajak lautnya bisa nempel. Ya kalau di laut besar kan udah laju-laju kapalnya. Bapak lihat ini, semuanya bendera asing semua di sini.
In Sulu, in the southern Philippines, money was always the main driver of the pirate militant group Abu Sayyaf.
When we started taking down those locals that are supporting them in their navigation, when we were able to neutralize them, that was the start that they got a hard time of doing the same thing because they don't have skilled supporters. They started victimizing the local folks because they cannot even get foreign nationals from the other places and bring it to Sulu.
Sionagon Beach Hotel became a key target of the group who would frequently attempt to ransack the property, raiding its provisions by boat. 33-year-old hotel worker Amaline Amil was present throughout the raids.
Simula noon po, yung Sionagon, hindi po siya ganito kakilado sa mga tao, lalo na po sa turismo. Kasi po yung Sionagon dati, tinatawag po itong No Man's Island. Wala po talagang pumupunta dito na taga-ibang lugar. Kasi po natatakot sila kasi nga hindi madaanan yung daan sa dagat po dumada sa bangka. Sa bangka po kasi hindi rin po kami sigurado kung makakapunta po kami dito sa aming probinsya. So hindi po ako lumaki dito sa Sionagon.
The village became a symbol of defiance as the locals bravely fought back against the group.
Actually, mahirap po ikwento yon kasi mula araw hanggang gabi, walang tulog yung mga mapabata, mapababae, mapamatanda. Kasi po yung mga kalalakihan namin, nandoon sila sa, parang, kumbaga naka-duty po sila. Nagbabantay na kung saan papasok, kung meron bang papasok, kasi nakapaligid na yung mga armadong hindi natin kilala. Hindi rin po namin alam yung dahilan kung bakit sa dami-dami ba naman ng lugar na merong kasalanan sa kanila. Kami na wala kaming ginawa. Kami yung pinuntahan dito. Maybe alam nila na against yung taga dito talaga. Na ayaw namin talaga na mapasukan ng mga armadong o Abu Sayyaf na katulad nila na wala namang ginawa kundi yung guluhin.
Not far from Sionagon Beach Hotel, an ex-Abu Sayyaf member who laid down his arms and demobilized under a government scheme to encourage young fighters to surrender, walks freely in his former stronghold.
Doon kasi sa Indanan, doon kasi bumababa ng hosted sa dagat. Tapos tinadala namin sa pundo. Tapos dinadala namin dito sa may, kinalimutan ko pala ang pangalan to. Pero lagi kami dito.
Saan kayo dito dati tumatambay?
Dati dito kami kumuha ng tubig pangluto. Danjat yun. Sa baba, naliligo na yung kidnap.
So dito ka naliligo dati?
Pero wala pang tao to. Wala pang bahay. Wala pa pumupunta sa Beldan dito.
After years of fighting, the Philippine military has managed to capture some of the group's surviving members, closing down their networks and severely weakening their ability to conduct kidnappings, bomb attacks, and piracy at sea. Former members of the militant group are now behind bars, locked up in a 2-story overcrowded provincial jail in Jolo, capital of Sulu. Inmates include former wives of foreign Abu Sayyaf commanders, like Indonesian native Reski Fantasia, who is accused of being a bomb maker for the group.
Saya datang ke sini di tahun 2019. Saya ikut bersama mama saya dan adik-adik saya ke Filipina ini. Tapi mama saya bercerita, saya ke sini, saya dan adik-adik saya ikut bersama mama ke sini karena ada urusan pekerjaan papa saya. Saya tidak tahu kalau kami ke sini karena papa saya ikut di Abu Sayyaf Group. Terus dari Indonesia ke Malaysia, saya disuruh mama saya untuk menikah sama orang yang tidak saya kenal. Suami saya sudah lama meninggal di dalam peperangan. Setelah suami saya meninggal, saya hamil 3 bulan. Terus sampai ke saya keluar dari hutan, saya tinggal bersama istri dari para Abu Sayyaf. Setelah itu, mungkin setelah 3 bulan, setelah 2 bulan setelah suami saya meninggal, saya ditangkap dengan tuduhan.
A wooden table is used to help block the entrance. On entering the prison, all our requests to interview the former Abu Sayyaf members were rejected. A prison inmate provides an insight into what it's like to live inside Sulu's crowded jail.
I can explain the rules that every inmate should be respect the jail guard and the mayor of each cell. And our second rule is we have to respect each other here to avoid the trouble, like hitting each other, avoid trouble. It has 10 paddle. If you commit that rules, then you have to be paddled outside here. And number 4 is you cannot talk to visitor that is not yours.
A set of 10 rules are imposed on the prisoners, ranging from no spitting to no fighting. If these are broken, harsh punishments are given out.
In time of rest, we have here. You cannot create any sounds like you disturbing the one who is resting, especially in Salah, because we are Muslims. We are praying. You cannot create any noise when we are praying.
Prison volunteers help guard the cells. Strict schedules are in place for visiting times. Security is tight. In the past, jailbreaks have occurred. There are around 30 former Abu Sayyaf militants inside the prison walls. The ex-militants share jail cells with drug addicts and hardened criminals.
There are 29 inmates in there. Next, cell number 2. Cell number 2, the same. Mostly drug cases. 28. There are 28 inmates there.
Due to the prison's high volume of Muslim inmates, a special area is designated for prayers during holy months. However, this is only reserved for prisoners with special status. Most of the men are locked up with 30 to a cell. Space is limited. Back in Indonesia, one of Southeast Asia's largest economies, its workforce consists of a burgeoning informal sector. In the Riau Islands, special economic zones, thousands of hopeful seafarers from all over Indonesia travel here to find work each year.
The people who do this kind of job, they start by they start by becoming a fisherman. That's when they understand the sea. So if they are brave enough, especially if they have life and death experience on daily basis, navigating the oceans, then doing a piracy or smuggling is just part of daily activities for them, because they already live with the sea, so they understand the weather, they know how to navigate even on the total darkness of night, without any help of modern navigation aid. They can understand, they know the way, they can read the stars, because it was passed down through generations.
With private jobs infrequent and unpredictable, many freelancers are forced to find work in other illegal economies that feed off the sea. Bangka, a small island lying southeast of Sumatra, is attracting more and more unemployed fishermen. An ex-fisherman who turned to piracy in search of economic opportunity also comes to Bangka to mine tin.
Kalau saya ke Bangka itu Pak, satu memang saya pernah juga ikut nambang di sana, dan kemudian jaringan kita juga ada di sana Pak.
Freelance pirates who target ships in the Malacca Strait also apply their skills to work in Bangka's tin sea mining operations, which in turn are ravaging the coastline and further decimating fish supplies.
Dan ini Pak, timah ini semacam ibaratnya kita nelayan juga Pak. Kadang ada yang tebalnya, kadang ada yang tipisnya. Macam kita kerja ikan nih lah Pak. Kadang ada banyaknya, kadang ada sedikitnya Pak. Kadang zongnya pun ada juga Pak. Selamanya ada ibaratnya menjanjikan satu ibaratnya itu keberhasilan Pak.
Divers must descend to the seabed floor, breathing through an air compressor. Some stay down for as many as 8 hours per day, extracting sediment in hope of finding tin. The abundance of offshore tin is a major economic driver in Bangka. Mining these deposits requires intricate knowledge of the ocean. The rapid industrialization of Indonesia's coastline, lax maritime restrictions, and widespread poverty all drive illicit economies like piracy, smuggling, and offshore mining, which feeds off the hidden realm of the sea, where crimes can be easily committed without a trace. But this economic opportunity is having dire environmental repercussions on Indonesian waters, further threatening the livelihoods of fishermen who are being pushed into other more extreme ways to make a living. Back in Sulu, the Abu Sayyaf strength on land and at sea has been diminished from years of counter-terrorism operations and coordinated patrols with the Coast Guard.
Speed, sir. 8 knots, sir.
We were able to bring down the strength of the ASG in Sulu and Basilan province at a 0 level. Most of them were neutralized during the encounters. Some of them surrendered, and there were even individuals who even went out of Sulu and put themselves on Lilo.
The military, with the professionalism of the new armed forces of the Philippines assigned here in Sulu, they were able to gain the respect, the trust of people. So they gained the support and cooperation of communities. I would think that really helped so much in the resolution of conflict here in our province.
Hundreds of former militants of the Abu Sayyaf group have now surrendered. Some have been reintegrated into the Philippine Armed Forces as members of an irregular auxiliary force where they assist the army with security operations. An ex-Abu Sayyaf fighter now works on the side of the military, having surrendered after spending 4 years working for the militant pirate group.
Nagsabi sa akin yung uncle ko na mag-ano na daw kami, mag-surrender sir. Kasi daw, konti na lang daw kami sir. Tapos sir, napasama na ako sa kanila sir. Sa Kuampo kami sir, nag-surrender sa isip sir. Tapos sir, yung nawakan na kami po sir na isip, may mga kasama din kami sir na nadala sa kanila sir na mag-surrender na rin sir. Tapos sir, yung 2021 na sir, nagsabi na sa akin sir yung pan namin na mag-capgun na daw kami sir kung gusto namin sir. Tapos sir, naging capgun na po kami sir.
Others have been put through disarmament programs and laid down their weapons for good. However, unemployment and economic insecurity remain.
Minsan nahirapan kami talaga ng Marines hanggang sila magpatrol hanggang kasi nakatago ako sa may punong malaki. Tumada pa, hindi mantras hanggang mamatay. Pero kami lang mantras sa likod. Matalino kasi ng Marines. Nahirapan kami talaga. Kasi sabi kami, tanong kami anong magpatrol, ano ka Army, Marines. Nung sabihin Army, sabi namin, kaya namin, patakbo natin yan. Pero magsabi sa amin ng intelligence, sabi na Marines, wala. Pipinda kami kagad ng lugar.
After conflict, some young ex-combatants are struggling to reintegrate back into civilian life, having witnessed and been part of the horrific crimes of the Abu Sayyaf group.
Ang buhay ko, yung kasawa ko, nakadalawang beses. Yung kadalawang beses ko nag-asawa. Nakahanap na ako ng anak pagkatapos namatay din siya. Tumama din ng nanay. Tapos parang ako nawalaan ako ng parang mababaliw ako, pumunta na lang ako sa Malaysia, trabaho kahit mahirap, kahit wala akong pass, kolorong lang ako. Tapos wala, tago-tago lang ako doon sa Malaysia. Parang ako katulad, parang sa pundok.
In Sulu, decades of conflict between the Philippine Army and Abu Sayyaf halted much of the island's development. Things may soon be about to change. With peace and normalcy returning to the island, money and investment are moving in. Hotels and resorts are now opening for business, offering new prosperity and potentially new opportunities for others.